Cub Scouts, wave your hands and give a big hi to my friends Sue and Regina. and Regina is originally from Singapore, and now she lives here in the United States, and they are world travelers. They have traveled all over the world. They have their own website on how to travel, where to travel. But because she's a native of Singapore, just like I'm a native of India, she's going to talk to us today about Singapore. So take it away, girls.
Okay, we're going to share our screen.
Welcome to Travel to Singapore. We are, the two of us, make up Travel for Life now. We are bloggers, as Renuka had just said. I'm originally from Singapore, born and bred, but I came to the United States in 1993, so now I consider myself American. But we go to Singapore every year, and we spend 2 to 3 months there, particularly in the winter. And as travelers, we've been to over 50 countries around the world, and almost 7 continents between the two of us. I wanted to share where is Singapore. Can you use the cursor to show? Well, yeah. Singapore is a very, very small country that is at the bottom of Southeast Asia. It is actually located 1 degree north of the equator. So it sits almost on the equator, and is, as a result, it is in the tropical climate and very, very hot. It is summer all year round, and it's humid and hot. It's between 80 and 90 degrees. And it rains a lot, and when it rains, sometimes it can be quite thunderous. So Singapore is about almost 10,000 miles away from us. It's actually, if you take a globe and you turn it around, it's on the other side of the United States. And it takes 18 hours to get there if you fly directly and you don't get off the plane. It was founded in the early 1800s by the British, but in 1965 we became independent. Now what we're showing you is the Istana, and this is where the President of Singapore lives. Next slide. So we wanted to talk a little bit about language and culture, right? So who are the Singaporeans? There are actually almost 6 million people, and there are over 70% are Chinese. A great majority are Chinese. So you see it reflected in our culture and our language. And you also have Malays, so you see mosques, and you also see, and you have Indians, and you have temples. And so our country reflects all the different races and other folks. Christianity and the religious, all 4 religions are represented in the country.
There's even a synagogue
for the Jewish folks. So we do observe the various different religions and celebrations, like Chinese New Year. Here you see a lion dance. Actually, he's actually trying to eat a plate of tangerines, and this is happening during Chinese New Year. So the lion dance actually is to convey prosperity to a business or to a household. People usually hire the lion dancers to do a dance and make lots of noise. And you see them, being doing a lot of dance, and there's a lot of noise, and
they're just trying to bring good luck and prosperity to their business,
to the business, to the families too. And these are Chinese New Year candies, right? During Chinese New Year, we get to eat a lot of different candies, and also cookies. Like here, we were helping a friend of ours bake pineapple tarts, which are the cookies that you see during Chinese New Year.
Do you want me to go back?
Yes. So there's a picture of this woman waving, right? This is taken from the Qingge Parade. The Qingge Parade is a big celebration that happens at the end of Chinese New Year, where there's a lot of dances and acrobats and representatives from all the Asian countries come and join in this big, huge parade where there's a lot of celebrations and a lot of activities and dancing. It's very, very fun. Back to Chinese New Year, more cookies here. As you can see, these are called love letters. And during Chinese New Year, a lot of people get the cookies to hand out to folks to visit. And there's also a lot of decorations that you buy to bring good luck to your house. If you notice, a lot of it is in red. So red is a signal of good, prosperity. This is also, I wanted to share a picture of a sign of respect. During Chinese New Year, people go around with 2 oranges and they give it to our elders, in exchange for a red packet. And the red packet usually has money in it. So this is actually a show of respect to our elders, to wish them, a longevity and prosperity for the new year. Food, right? Who doesn't like food, right? I'll jump straight into...
I have a question.
Yes?
Does red mean good luck?
Yes, it does. That's why you see a lot of people wearing red, a lot of red decorations, and even the lion dances are in red, So yes, red is a very, very prosperity, a good signal for prosperity.
What is this plate called?
Sorry?
What is this?
Oh, this dish is called 海鮮滑蛋河 in Cantonese. It is actually a dish where you have seafood and as you can see, some scrambled egg and a very wonderful noodle dish. Very lovely and is very warm and I just love eating this dish. And this over here is called raw fish or yusang. And families actually celebrate by, putting, all the raw carrots and lettuce, and then we put in some abalone or salmon, and you toss it. So the whole activity is to bring prosperity to the family. Now, during Chinese New Year, you do a lot of things that will bring prosperity to the family, and desserts. These are our favorite desserts. A mango pudding in the background with the 2, what we call pulut hitam in the foreground. And very, very tasty with coconut
and black rice.
And black rice pudding is also known as black rice pudding. This is a new favorite of ours called the roti prata, but it's a chocolate version of the roti prata. As you notice, the food actually reflects the culture. So the roti prata is actually originated from the Indian culture. So we actually adopt this into our food and menu too. And this is a feast that we recently went to. As you can see, there's shrimp, there's fish, there's chicken. This is usually what people do during Chinese New Year too. You get together and you have a big family feast and everybody gather to spend time and enjoy the food. Now this, I don't know if anybody can tell me what this is.
It looks like lemon.
Jackfruit, something like a jackfruit.
It
is
lemons.
No, it is a durian. It's called the king of all fruits. It has thorns, as you can see on the side, and it is very prickly. You cannot hold it. You have to wear gloves to hold it and to cut it open. And the fruit is actually very stinky.
Yeah, it smells terrible, and I think it tastes terrible. Reggie loves it.
Yeah, it's my favorite fruit. All right. Singapore has about almost 6 million people in a very small island, about less than 300 square miles, and maybe about 12 times the size of Manhattan. So where do all the people live? they live on top of each other, as you can see in these HDB flats. There are flats that were built by the government, and over 70% of the people in Singapore live in flats like that. As you can see, there are many levels, and and they have their they do their washing and they hang it out, and as you can see in the top level, you might be able to see people doing
there's
their
laundry
washing.
right
Yes,
there.
They don't have washer dryers, so they
have washing machines.
they have washers, but they hang their clothes out to dry in the hot sun. And this is where we do some of our food shopping, our grocery shopping. We actually go to a place that is called a wet market. The market is not your big supermarket like ShopRite or anything like that, but they are usually located near the flats, and they have little stalls selling just vegetables and meat or fish or eggs. So you go and you pick your food and more food. So this is another picture of us having a celebration, especially during Chinese New Year. A lot of families like to get together and have family style lunches and meals. So how do Singaporeans get around? This is a picture of the MRT. The MRT is the Singapore's version of the subway.
Except it's clean.
It is very clean.
It's much cleaner than New York City.
It's very fast. It is very efficient. It's never late, and it runs all the time. So everybody depend on the MRT to get around. These are some more pictures of the eggs and the other dry goods that you see. And what do Singaporeans do for fun? Well, they like to play table tennis. They play badminton. They play soccer. Soccer is very big in Singapore. But a lot of the people like to get active. As you can see, the government is very encouraging of people, and they're always there are stadiums everywhere, and you could go and play badminton, run around the track and play soccer or what is called football.
Right? And basketball.
Yes, and basketball
it's become very popular in Singapore.
Yes, right. So interesting places. We want to share with you some of the iconic symbols of Singapore. Like this. This is what we call the Merlion. All right. The Merlion is actually made of half lion and half mermaid. And it was a historical symbol because when the country was first founded, the native prince that was living here said he saw a lion running through the forest. And given where Singapore is it's an island surrounded by waters, they decided to marry the concept of a lion with mermaid, because you have the fishes around and the fishermen, so this is sort of a historical symbol for us. And who recognized this? These are the super trees. So you can see them near the Marina Bay Sands and a place called Gardens by the Bay. These are actually sculptures that are made with real life plants. So you can see them growing up the trees, and they're called super trees. You can go right up to the top and you can walk around them and be, high above the treetops, and it is beautiful to see them. And they're another iconic symbol of Singapore.
They're also ecologically important. They're environmentally, they've been cited internationally environmentally for so there are solar panels on them. So they are solar, all their electricity comes from solar. It is, as Reggie said, the sides of these trees have plants growing in them. They're made of metal and like regular structures, but they're designed to help the environment in Singapore. And they also have a really cool light show in the evenings.
All right. I don't know if you
this
can
is
see.
An orchid.
Yeah, this is actually an orchid, but it looks like faces. So now Singapore's national flower is actually an orchid. And there are very, very many varieties of different orchids. And I wanted to show this because I thought that the faces are just very interesting.
I like to go to the orchid garden every time we go to Singapore. I love the orchid garden. It's one of the best in the world. And the Singapore Botanic Gardens, which the orchid garden is in, is one of the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. It's the only one actually in Singapore.
Again, we're back to the Marina Bay Sands. Again, the Marina Bay Sands.
That's this building.
Yes, on the left. There are also another new iconic symbol with the. It looks like a fish on top, but it's actually a structure with an infinity pool that connects all three buildings. And it is an incredible architectural feat, because they can support a whole swimming pool that's right on top of the building.
Right here is the swimming pool. Yeah. And then here is the Museum of Art Science, which is one of my favorite museums in Singapore, because I think art and science go together. Most of the time people keep those two things separate, but this is a museum that's dedicated to both of them. And it kind of looks like a tulip.
Yes.
And then you want to say something about the Singapore River?
So the last and the latest iconic symbol we wanted to share is the jewel. And this is the one that is found at the Changi Airport. There is a light show that turns this whole waterfall into various different colors. It turns purple, green, pink, white, and it's just absolutely fantastic. And you can't really see it on the left side, but there's a little monorail that goes from one side of the building to another, so you can actually, pass by the waterfall and also probably be splashed by it.
It's about 150 feet high. It's if not it's one of the tallest indoor waterfalls in the world. And the Changi Airport is an amazing place. It's got a butterfly garden. It's got an orchid garden.
It's a sunflower garden.
A sunflower garden. It's a destination in and of itself.
So,
and this is us. We are Travel for Life Now, and our website has lots and lots of stories about Singapore and also a lot of other places around the world that you might be interested in.